Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining the Security Summit here at Lightpath. My name is Ken Florenz. I'm the Director of Product here. Hopefully, you'll enjoy the presentation that we have for everyone. It is a virtual lunch and learn. We have about 30 minutes, so it'll be running pretty fast here. I want to just make a quick programming note, if you don't mind. We will be talking about Lightpath SecureNet, our DDoS protection services, Cloud Connect, as well as endpoint security. In some of the paraphernalia that you may have received, you probably saw there may have been some items in there that talked about SD-WAN. SD-WAN is a pretty large environment in which we have to allocate a tremendous amount of time for. So we're going to put that in a separate summit so we can get more out of it and people can be more focused into that area. So with that in mind, we'll go to the first slide here. And with anything, everybody always asks, why Lightpath? What's the differentiator between Lightpath and some of the other providers out in the market? And what you'll see from this slide is that we really feel that our network is the foundation for your innovation. We are 100% fiber. We've invested a tremendous amount of time, energy, and money into building the next generation optical and packet network that has unsurpassed flexibility, reliability, and security. Our points of presence in our network are diverse. And the common data centers that you probably all know about, we're in not only those areas, but as well as additional ones. We're not in your normal typical locations, which allows you to have geographical diversity depending upon what the requirements of your network are. An additional piece to why we're different is our expertise and our approach. We partner with our clients. We're that trusted advisor that helps bring various different ideas and improvements to the networks and the services that you may need in the areas of voice, data, wireless, and as you'll hear today, security. So that you can focus on your business, we'll take care of the technology. And the partners that we have, right? New York State OGS, we work with USAC partners such as E-Rate Consultants. And one of the main threads that we have a tremendous amount of business with is the educational vertical. As you know, probably through this pandemic, that has been a mainstay for us, where our video collaboration, our security services, and our ever growing fiber connectivity for these institutions have been a mainstay. The bottom line is that the biggest difference is, and our focus, is our customers. Without you, where would we be, right? From the sale to the installation to the support, whether you're calling our NOC, our customer care, or any other reason, that customer experience is the most important piece to us. And that's what we strive to be the best in the business. With that, there are a few things at a glance that we put together here that should be the mainstay in your mind. I'm not going to hit all of these bullets, but I think there are some important points here to call out. Number one, we have 18,000 plus and growing route miles of fiber, over 12,000 service locations. As I mentioned before, we have a state-of-the-art optical and packet network, and it's growing every day, and I'll talk more about that on the next slide. We're backed by Altice USA and Morgan Stanley. Therefore, we have unlimited resources to build the core and the network and develop the solutions that you all need. We have 75 plus on-net data centers and 8 on-net landing stations with over 30 years in the business. Our markets are today New York City Metro, the New York City Metro, Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, and recently we expanded up to Massachusetts. And that isn't going to be the end. We have a full suite of fiber connectivity, voice, security, and managed services products that have been built to help serve all of you. And when those standard products aren't exactly what you need in your environment, and you have additional requirements that are required for either your customers or the implementations that you're putting in place, we have a dedicated solutions team that will help define, design, and architect, as well as implement and support those requirements. Bottom line is the greater than 400 employees that we have here are here to help you be successful. So let's talk a little bit about the network that we're putting in place. What you'll see here is On the right-hand side, you'll see for holiday purposes, we colored our network and our diverse routes between red and green. So that was kind of appropriate. But you'll also see some of the gear in the bottom picture on the bottom left, as you're looking at it, of the new next generation high capacity ROADM core network devices. What do they mean? As we put these out in through our core to our different head ends and our different data centers and POPs, what you're going to see is that we're going to be able to provide high-end, high-bandwidth connectivity up to about 800 gig. It'll facilitate us putting in optical encryption and expand our private fiber network out to folks who require their buildings to be connected and isolated away from various different other networks. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over now to Bill Cheslock, who is our security product manager here at Lightpath, who has a storied history throughout the industry, whether it's in the finance area or with government security projects. And he'll take you through the rest of the slides here.
Thanks, Ken. Welcome, everybody. As Ken mentioned, my name is Bill Cheslock. I'm one of the product managers at Lightpath, and my area of focus has been security products. And today what we'll do is talk about three of them that we've implemented, that we provide to our customers, because as we've seen the growing necessity to have protection against the cyber threats that are out there, we're able to provide these protections in a unique way because of our expansive network and the capacity that we have to provide some security so that you don't have to go to third-party providers. The first product that we'll talk about is our DDoS protection. We call it our managed DDoS protective services. And this product is there for you to use to protect against volumetric DDoS attacks. These distributed denials of service attacks have grown in frequency because they're easier to execute. So what we do is we can match this protection with the circuits that we provide to our customers so that they're protected against DDoS attacks. Two of the key features of our DDoS protection is, number one, it does not require any additional hardware. We provide this protection at our core so that if your circuit starts to get under an attack, we're able to offload that traffic, scrub it, clean it, and only let the good traffic through before it even hits your interface. The second key feature about our DDoS protection is that it's incredibly timely. There's a very, very low lag in what it takes for this protection to kick in. And that's important because if you have time-sensitive or latency or jitter-sensitive traffic, you don't want that upset as an attack starts or during the course of an attack. So our product does consider those two very important characteristics in providing the protection. Our SecureNet product is simply the combination of a DIA circuit, a direct internet access circuit, with our DDoS protection, so that you're not necessarily required to buy two products from us. You can just buy the SecureNet product and get the built-in DDoS protected services. The next product is our Cloud Connect product, a product that we launched about a year ago, and we're finding very strong success with this because, number one, what we're finding is, as you may well be aware, many firms are migrating to the cloud. They're doing it for data storage purposes, for processing purposes, compute purposes, as well as diversity purposes, taking advantage of all the infrastructure that these cloud providers have implemented, either in one region or multiple regions, in order to make a customer's products or services very effective, timely, and consistent. The idea of moving data, applications, and even security features into the cloud is becoming more common. And as Ken mentioned earlier in the presentation, Lightpath takes pride in providing this kind of a service with our white glove level of service so that we minimize the amount of interaction that you're required to take, and we provide you the same reliability and serviceability as our normal E-lines, V-lines, OTS services, DIA services, but now we do it to the cloud. And what is our cloud connection? So it's flexible because we can provide you connection in anywhere from hundreds of megabits per second up to 10 gigabits per second and more. We provide this in a very cost-effective and economic sense so that you don't have to put any additional equipment on your premise. We will give you a dedicated line to your cloud provider, which in itself provides the security so that you no longer have to traverse the internet and deal with any internet-related issues, latency, best effort. Your data can flow directly to and from the cloud, so you have a higher consistency and a better user experience. So our cloud connection is a combination of not only the connection to the service provider, but a transport to get you there. The transport would be either an Ethernet connection, or through the higher bandwidths, we give you our optical transport services. We connect to any number of providers. AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google are the most prominent these days, but there are literally hundreds more that we can provide connectivity to. We partner with Equinix so that we take advantage of their points of presence, their data centers, where we are co-located, and we can provide connectivity either a single path or multi-path to improve resiliency, so that if there were a circuit outage or a fiber cut, you could have resiliency so that your connection continues to work through that error. I mentioned to you that there's multiple bandwidth options. And those bandwidth options are flexible in terms of some people sign up for maybe 300 megabits per second, and then in a year find that they have to grow it up to a gig. So we can facilitate those types of changes. In terms of where we connect, Ken mentioned our footprint is pretty strong in the Northeast. So we currently have 2 points of presence in Secaucus, New Jersey, and Ashburn, Virginia. But those points of presence are actually increasing, where there are more on the way. In terms of flexibility and resiliency, we typically have 3 designs that we could implement for you on how to give you access to your cloud. The first one, which is the most popular, where we provide a single network interface device and a single port at your premise, and then we would go through our core and then connect to whichever service provider you want. But as you go to the right, you can see that resiliency increases and redundancy increases. So with an associated cost increase, you get more availability. So in the case of an error, you would work through that error. We work, again, with either the Ashburn, Virginia site or the Secaucus site, and there are more on the way. The last product I was going to talk about today is our endpoint security product. Endpoint security is the third layer of cybersecurity defense, where it's happening within your network, on your local area network. And the reason it's becoming so prominent is because bad actors, hackers, are actually figuring out ways around standard protections like firewalls and intrusion protection systems. And they're working their way to your servers and your workstations in order to drop malware, in order to scan what's going on, move laterally, and then ultimately exfiltrate or pull out the information that they want. So by providing security at each endpoint, you're more well protected against these types of advanced threats and using advanced tactics, techniques, and procedures. As you know, cybersecurity threats continue to grow. Just this year, 61% of organizations are experiencing attacks. So while the pandemic that we've all been facing has pushed people to move more remote and operate remotely, the threat vectors have been able to attack additional surfaces And we're finding, again, that putting protection on each endpoint solidifies your risks, stance and provides the best level of protection, whether those workstations and laptops are in the office or at home. Noteworthy is that this protection, our endpoint protection, operates whether or not the machine is in the office or at home. So it follows the machine, not just the physical location. Endpoint security comes with a dashboard. And what's most important is that this dashboard gives you insight, real-time insight into your computer network's environment. It's connected directly to a security operations center, which is operating 7/24/365, working to protect your infrastructure against current and evolving threats. The Security Operations Center has all the latest data feeds, the threat hunting capability, and the analysts to provide the latest and greatest protection to your network. Furthermore, the SOC, the Security Operations Center, is able to respond to threats as they see them. So if during the weekend there's a time when your organization may not have people on staff or may not be looking at your network, our SOC is watching it, and they'll be able to mitigate risks if they were to happen then. For example, issuing quarantines or killing processes, and then alerting you to that fact so that you know what situation your network is under. Our endpoint security operations come in two flavors. We have an essentials and an advanced. So while you always get the visibility via the portal, you always get the malware remediation and the continuous policy adaption. The advanced product allows you the extra capabilities to have a named success manager, a person who will specifically focus on your organization and conduct quarterly reviews so that you're aware of what's happening, what the threats are, and what vulnerabilities you might have that you might need to address. And furthermore, some digital forensics in the case that there is a breach and you need that information to provide to any organization or any compliance regulations, we would help you get that information. And that's an overview of our SecureNet, DDoS, cloud connection product, and our endpoint security products. I'd like to open the floor to any questions. I see a question related to who we're partnered with for the endpoint security, and the answer is Blue Voyant. Hi, at this moment, I just wanted to mention that there are two other questions that came in related to a customer pulling their own reports in the realm of our DDoS protection service. And the answer to that is that our NOC will send reports to our customers after the attack occurs. The attacks occur, our system defines them, mitigates them. We have an analyst verify that the attack occurred, and then following that, an attack report is sent to our customer. There's no peacetime reporting in our DDoS protection services. So if there are no attacks, there'll be no reporting. And in terms of what layers are protected via the DDoS solution, the answer is it's volumetric attacks. So it's looking at everything from packets per second to bits per second attacks on your interface. So it's volumetric DDoS protection.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so I'm back. My microphone died there. Sorry about that, folks.
No problem. I don't see any other questions. I saw the three, and I believe we answered each one of them.
Yeah, I don't see any other ones. Yeah, I did put some answers. I did put some answers in the chat there. So thanks for covering that, Bill.
Sure. I see the question about, does Lightpath do last mile connections to businesses, or are we primarily focused on data center solutions? Lightpath addresses both. We have, as Ken mentioned, over 12,000 service locations. So we have lit buildings all throughout the New York metro area, and now in in the Massachusetts area. So we will provide connectivity from your premise to either data centers or co-locations or between your buildings. So if you have situations where you have to access data centers, we can do that. If you have situations where you have to connect multiple buildings for things like data center access or business continuity or simply data redundancy backups, we provide the higher bandwidth connections for that. So in the realm of E-lines, V-lines, OTS, optical transport services, and then, of course, the kind of plain vanilla direct internet access. Those are all within the scope of Lightpath services.
All right. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in right now. I don't know, Bill, you see any, or think that's about it?
Thank you.
All right. So with that, thanks, Bill. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I hope you found this informative. Again, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to talk about, we're always available. You can reach out to whoever your account exec is, or if you want to reach out to either Bill or I for any of the further information on the topics that we addressed here today, we're at your disposal. So I hope you all have a great day, and thanks again for joining. Hope to see you at the next one. Have a great holiday, everybody.